Eating perishable food is very healthy. And the reason for this is that our bodies are perishable. So let me tell you a little story. When I was going to house sit for my daughter over in one of the other provinces here in Canada, I was going to be leaving my younger daughter at home on her own, and she lives with me still. And so we went shopping the last day or two before I left. I was going to be away for a month. And so we started shopping, and usually I'm the one who does the grocery shopping when she comes with me sometimes. Sometimes she'll do it on her own, but this time I was specifically shopping for her, not shopping for me, since I was going to be leaving. So I was emptying the fridge of all the stuff that I was used to eating. We don't always eat the same foods. So I started shopping with her, and we started basically going around the outside of the grocery store. And by the end of it, she said, "Mom, all the foods that you usually eat are all on the outside aisles." And I said, "Yeah, that's exactly right, because that's where the perishable foods are. They're all in the fridges and freezers mostly fridges all along around the outside. So that's where all the vegetables are, and the fruits, and the meats, and the cheeses, and the dairy. And then, of course, there is the freezer aisle. But the majority of the aisles in the middle of a grocery store are where the canned foods are, and the boxed foods, and the processed foods, and the packaged foods, and all the stuff that can last for months and months and years and years and years. That's why it's in the middle of the aisles. So the reason I worked at a grocery store once, the reason the outside aisle has the perishable foods is it has access from the back side for those foods to be added, especially like the dairy and the meats. You'll walk into a grocery store and there's the butcher behind the counter. So he has access to that. Whereas if you had the butcher in the middle of the store, like that wouldn't make any sense, because they got to clean it all up and stuff. So I worked in a deli department, and we did have our own sink and such, but it was it was a small grocery store. So it was in the middle of the store, but it had access to the back where we'd have to go and get the meats and the cheeses. So, and then the produce aisles have to be near a door, because those foods come and go, and some of them have to be, replenished every day. But the aisles down the middle of the grocery store, some of those barely get touched. I mean, how many times are they adding new canned soups and canned corn and canned beans and the cookies and the juices and the pops and the chips and all of that? Some of those things, some of those things can stay for weeks and months, and, they've got to rotate them through so that the ones that are going to expire, they'll bring to the front. But that's sort of the mentality or the reason why going shopping around the outside aisle of the grocery store makes the most sense, because it's perishable, it's fresh, it's going to go bad, which means it's healthier for us because it hasn't been processed and it doesn't have preservatives added to it. That's just how I see processed foods in comparison to the perishable foods, and how perishable foods, they're just healthier for us. So comment below if you have also experienced that situation where you're shopping at the grocery store and you realize you end up shopping all the way around the outside, and you look in your grocery cart and it's mostly healthy foods in comparison to if you shop down all the aisles. So that's just it's a generalization, but there is some truth to that that I've found. Thanks for watching.